Hello, everybody. Welcome to CripChat, your weekly podcast for everything disability. Today I have with me Jonathan Shar, Ibby Dee,
Hello.
myself, David Dee, and Ryan.
Hi, everyone.
Ryan Gay, who is
Hi.
a six. Ex,
Sex therapist, David. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Sex therapist.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the introduction. Please like and share, everyone. And yeah, get into the conversation. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to CripChat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. We have a very special guest with us, Ryan Gay. How's it going, Ryan?
Not bad.
That's good. That's good. Welcome to the show. Ryan, do you want to briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I've studied technology at Curtin University in Western Australia. I've also got a bachelor's degree in social work.
Nice. Nice. Thank you for joining us once again, Ryan. And yeah, let's get into it. So, as most of you are familiar with, the NDIS is all about, providing support for people with disability to be independent with their lives and their decision making. But you heard it from me. Let's now go over to Ryan. Ryan, what exactly is NDIS and what types of support does it provide to people with disabilities?
So, do you want me to answer?
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's meant to provide any need that's seen as reasonable and necessary. And for me, as a sexologist, I see sexuality as a necessary need in all society, not just with people with disabilities. But I think there's a lot of stigma around sex work and the way sex work is seen in our society is bad, and that's because we live in a um, conservative society where politicians don't really understand the true needs of people with disabilities. Basically because they don't ask people with disabilities, or you know what I'm saying? It's sort of the breakdown in communication in some aspects of needs, and I think generally people are like, sex is just a desire. Why is it a need?
Yeah, that's. I guess. Look, it's a good thing that you highlighted that. It's a desire rather than a need. But in saying that, look, we're all active. I guess human beings at the end. We all have needs.
Yeah,
We're also, we do uh have that intimacy in us.
yeah, yeah.
But in saying that, Ryan, how does the NDIS address the personal and intimate needs of people with disabilities?
For me, it's not really a great system to help with that. Like back before NDIS, if I can go back a little bit, if that's okay, I can
Yeah.
talk about my personal experience with sex workers because I'm open to tell everyone about that. back before NDIS, I asked my service provider, was there any legislation around sexuality in the, obviously it's different in every state back in the day, so I asked if there was any legislation in Western Australia to stop me from doing that. And the answer was no. So what I did is just put it down as support work, like an ABN number, and that's how I did it. I don't think it's that easy on the NDIS.
Hmm.
And to be honest, I haven't even attempted to approach this subject with NDIS. Yeah, do you guys have any experience with NDIS and sexuality or?
Look, not really, to be honest. I
Yeah,
mean, look, I'm open to exploring this option,
yeah,
but yeah, at this point in time, I'm still searching.
yeah. And
But
I
I
think
guess there is
that's,
a desire.
I think the downfall of NDIS for everyone, not just people with physical disabilities, all disabilities, is they don't include sexuality as a like section. If they
Yeah,
had a section where you could put sexuality, it's it'll be a lot easier for people to say, I'm not interested in that or I am interested in that, you know what I mean? So the
we
option
get
is
ya.
there.
We hear loud and clear, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Do
Yeah.
you think the policy makes think people with disabilities don't have the same desires as the able-bodied community?
I think that's a really good question. And I think it's the same. Like we've all got the same needs and desires. As you guys would know, personal care comes before anything else. There's no intimate touch, there's no nothing that is there to do personal care, and that's it. So I think the needs are the same. I think they can vary from person to person, sure, but our innate desires to be touched and to get intimacy with others is predominantly the same.
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you for that one. So, look, you talk about, your
So,
work
so,
in
so,
the.
so Ryan,
Sorry, go ahead, David.
Ryan,
Yeah, go
what does
on.
sex got to do with disability?
Well, well, the thing
Many
that
people,
I,
many people who have no disability have problems
yeah,
doing interacting with the other sex or
yeah,
sex
yeah, I
and
totally
finding sex.
agree. I agree with you
So,
100%.
so,
But I would say,
so why don't we leave NDIS just for disability and you can't really put sex in this.
well, that's an argument that the parliament would tell you. But what I'm saying is the parliament and everybody in society is saying, go and have a normal relationship and things like that. And I can testify to you that finding relationships as a person with a disability, and this is my own experience. I can't speak for all you guys, but I've been single for 25 years, and I'm on every dating app there is known to man. So I'm not advocating for everyone to have this. I'm just saying, why not put it as an option when the government clearly wastes money on other rubbish like, you know what I mean? I don't want to get into too much politics, but
Yeah,
yeah, they need to look after their own citizens before anybody else.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, well said. Thank you for that, Ryan. So you've worked as a sex therapist. So what role does the sex workers play in supporting people with disabilities?
Well, I haven't actually worked. That was I'm a sexologist. So what it is the psychology of sex. So I haven't actually worked. Unfortunately, I'm still looking for work. That's another issue for people with disabilities. But yeah, I would suggest that if you got someone with sexual identity issues
Mhm.
or, you know, having trouble with like getting sex toy modified, I could probably advocate and help those people through the minefield of their own sexuality. I think that's why I did sexology myself, to learn about myself more than other
Mhm.
people, you know, because I had some questions about myself that I wanted a few answers to.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah, interesting. Going back to you, Ryan, how has accessing the services of a sex worker impacted your quality of life and well-being?
I think and again, this is this personal point of view. It's different for everyone. So I think for me, I felt like it's a need I had. So, you know, I felt like there's many reasons that,
Mm,
you know, we have sex, and it's not just for the intimacy part, and that's a misnomer about sex work is they just come and have sex with you. But there's also, you know, I had people come, I chat to them for a while, like build build a bit of a connection with them before actually doing anything with them. So I felt like getting that human connectedness and the added bonus of intimacy for me was was really great, and it made me feel, for a lesser word, it made me feel like a whole human being, not just someone that you looked after, and you know,
yeah, yeah,
and it made me feel, and not to bring like gender politics into it either, but it made me feel like a man, you know,
yeah.
like
I feel
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I feel you, Ryan. I feel you. So, and look up what challenges have you faced in navigating the NDIS to access these services?
I think with NDIS, it's just not talked about enough, and it's not the way that the NDIS are going. And I've only seen snippets, to be honest. They're not going to fund anything to do with sexuality, so that's a barrier in itself. Like, for example, for me, when I went to see a sex worker, you can argue this either way, whether people should pay for themselves or not. That's another argument, but my
Mm.
argument would be again, you don't get into normal relationship, but everybody needs that intimate touch that you don't get from support workers, and you're not gonna ask your support worker because you can't. Um, and you're not gonna ask your mom either, like,
Oh,
and that sort of thing.
Well,
So I think the thing is like, sorry, can you repeat your question? I tend to
yeah.
go off track a bit. So,
Now, but I'll just ask you, what challenges have you faced in navigating the NDIS to access these
I,
services?
yeah, I actually haven't tried to access services while NDIS have been around because most people say no, you can't do that. So I
Yeah,
haven't really attempted to try under the NDIS, but I would if I knew it was going to be yes, you can do that, and I think that's a political issue we're facing right now. I
yeah.
think that
Sorry, building on that, Ryan
yeah,
and Jim, sorry. What are the legal implications of using NDIS funds for sex work?
well, what's the implication? I guess I guess how they're gonna you know I think it's a tricky one because sex workers like cash, and that's hard under the NDIS because you need an ABN, which they all have ABN now, but you're dealing with a cash situation. I know for me, if I like to not deal with cash, so I'm like, if I can transfer money, that's easier for me. But that's not answering your question, really. But, I think that could be an issue. Like, how do you. And I don't think people with disabilities would be asking a lot. Like, maybe have an intimate service every 6 months or even once a year would be sufficient. And to me, that's not a lot of money, really. Oh, well, it is and it isn't. It depends how you look on political spending. And that's the issue. People don't want to say people are spending money on sex workers because you look down upon.
Yeah. Mm.
But, yeah. So I think the major issues, sorry, is sex work itself. If it's seen as a legitimate and they legalise it everywhere in Australia, no problem at all. That's the biggest problem. Each state has different rules around sex work.
Yeah. No, thank you for that, Ryan. How does the NDIS framework address or fail to address the personal and intimate needs of participants?
I don't think it really does. I think it just deals with your support needs, and that's it.
Mm.
Like, simple as that. You get money for support to pay support workers, do physio, IT. Great. That's all things that we need. And the answer will be, because we're in the conservative society, go get a relationship, go out, meet people, go join a club. they're all the answers. And that's what you have to write in your NDIS. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. It's a load of rubbish, to be honest. But, people do get what they need. I'm not saying that NDIS fails in all aspects of life, but when you look at how much we have to write about our life compared to everybody else, it's a joke.
Yeah, yeah. Well said. Well said. Ryan. So, what ethical considerations should we take into account when discussing sex work in the context of disability support?
I think sorry, does anyone else want to talk about it or is it just me? So I'm happy to talk, but if anybody else wants to talk about it, that's also fine.
Hmm. Yeah, and for the viewers out there, if you have any questions you want to ask, feel
Yeah,
free to write in the
absolutely.
chat. All right, let's move on to advocacy. So, advocating, for sex work. What role do advocacy organizations play in supporting the rights of people with disability to access sex work services?
I think advocacy very important, and I'm on the board of an advocacy agency here in Western Australia. I think there just needs to be a better understanding of what sex work is in the political arena, because I think the problem that I see is people don't understand the value of sex work. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's what needs to be explored a bit more. How can we value people that are doing, because it's not just about sex, like I said. You might want someone to talk to, because as a man, there's a lot of stigma around going to see a therapist or a counselor. So you might hire a sex worker just to talk to them, or you want to play dress ups, or So there's so many other aspects of sex work that people don't actually realize
Yeah.
is going on. They just think it's just a sex act, but it's actually more than that. It's people need companionship of all types, even the intimate type of companionship. So I think that
That's
advocacy,
Ryan.
yeah,
That's where you can create a club or something that people can go to. That what things like that.
yeah, that's absolutely true. But what if you don't want to join a club? That's what I'm saying. That's the answer to everything. It's not the only answer. That's what the government will be telling you. Well, join a club. And I'm involved with like advocacy. I'm involved in my local council. I don't meet lots of people through days, and no one's gonna come and like say, "Do you want me to suck your dick?" Like in a council meeting or stuff like that. But I'm not saying that doesn't work for everybody. I'm just saying logistically, that's the answer for everyone is join a group, be social, but there's some people in our society that don't want to join groups of be social. And why should they not have the same opportunities that everybody else does?
Yeah.
It's a
I'm
bit
not
hard.
trying to.
It's a bit hard to have the same opportunities if you don't want to be out there. and
Yeah, and I
get in
understand that.
places, meet people.
Like I said, I'm on every like dating app known to man. It does not make a difference because
And
Uh,
I'm
people
agree.
see disability as disability. So
Yeah.
that's a societal issue. It's not a disability issue. It's a broader society. And sorry if I sound like, I'm trying to knock your idea because I'm not trying to do that. But that's what I get all the time. Join a group, and you get sick of hearing the same thing, like, you know. But I'm happy for groups to exist. I'm not saying don't have groups, don't do anything. But you gotta look at every aspect.
Yeah. Some very valid points there, Ryan.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank you for David as well for asking the question.
yeah, thanks.
Ryan, how can policymakers ensure that the NDIS is inclusive of the diverse needs of the participants?
But I think they gotta just talk to everybody. It's about open communication. And like at the start of
It's
NDIS,
as simple as that, huh? Communication.
yeah, just communicate, like, get all the group together, talk. And if, look, I'm willing to say to you, if sex isn't an issue for people, take it off the table, it's fine. I'm not advocating for everyone to go and jump everybody's bones, if you know what I mean. I'm just saying, if you want it to be an option, it should be an option.
Yeah, exactly. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Well said, Ryan. So, what changes or reforms are needed to better support the personal and intimate needs of people with disabilities through the NDIS?
I think they just need to be more open about, you know, if there's sex services available, how people can access them. If they're not to, just turn around and say, we're not funding that. And I expect people to jump up and down and get really upset about it. But, I think they just need to say we're including sexuality in the NDIS because everybody needs are very different and diverse. So maybe get a diverse group of people together, and that includes people that don't want sex in their NDIS plan. Because to have a proper conversation, you need to hear both sides of the story. You can't just be pro one side or the other, you know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Ryan.
Yeah,
Now we'll talk about overcoming stigma and promoting inclusion. And so, Ryan, what
yeah.
stigma and misconceptions exist around sex work and disability? I'm
Well,
interested.
Well, there's always stigma around disability. That's been going on forever and a day. Like, I think people with disability, one, aren't seen as sexual, or there's another
Exactly.
argument that we're over sexualized, so all we do is watch movies and have a wank all the time, whatever. But I'm just joking, by the way. I don't mean like people do that, but I'm just saying that's the economy of the view. Like aren't sexual at all, or we're over sexualized. So I think you gotta make those stigmas in the middle. And I actually studied a lot around disability and social stigma, and purely people don't see people with disability as sexual unless they have some sort of disability fetish or medical fetish, which is unfortunate. And I know there's people that do get married and all that sort of thing, but I know also people once they've acquired disability, that their spouses left them, stuff like that. So, I think it's really hard to get past the societal view of the way disability is without advocating for ourselves, which is important. Um, and I think that sex work is a different one altogether. And I think the problem is we're a bit conservative in Australia, and until everybody sees it as something a need for people, it's not gonna be well resolved.
Yep, yep. Interesting. Thank you for that, Ryan. So, how can we promote a more inclusive and respectful discourse around this topic?
I think people like we're doing now need to talk about it, comment, and question. We've all got different experiences that we can bring to the table. Um, Again, it's about, and this is the biggest thing with society, and like was said earlier, if you don't go outside, people aren't gonna see you. So I agree with the fact that we need to go out, we need to do things for people with disability, but it shouldn't be a forced choice. It should be, I want to go to the park today because you want to go there, not because they said there's some group that has to go there. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, until we deal with stigma like I talked about earlier, and that's a really tough one. But it's about talking. Again, communication is the key.
Yeah. And it's also about challenging the curious mind. We're all curious human beings.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, okay. That's why I get people to ask questions, because if they don't know it, they're gonna assume stuff. So I'd rather be straight with people and just tell them this is what it's like.
Nice. Interesting point you make there,
Yeah.
right? So, what steps can be taken to educate the public and reduce the stigma?
Well, there's a lot we can do. I think the biggest thing is we don't have enough representation of people with disabilities in all aspects of life. Like, I've been looking for a job for over 10 years. Like, we're not in job, and I'm not saying everyone again, but the majority of statistics will tell you that most people with disability are unemployed. So we just need to be more visible in society, and again, it's all about talking and communicating. So when I get invited to do talks such as this, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, because it gets people out there and get people talking. And I think that's, you gotta get it out to the broader community. I don't know how you do that. It's tough. Um, but it's all about, like, maybe starting in schools. I mean, they talk about like all the trans stuff in schools now. Why not include disability? I'm not sure how much they actually talk about people with disabilities in schools because I'm not in the education like field in that regard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we hear loud and clear, Ryan. Thank you very much for sharing. We'll now move on to support and resources. And so my question to you, Ryan, what resources and support are available for people with disabilities seeking to access sex work services?
Well, well, I think that's a very important one, and I know over your way you got touching base over there,
Yeah.
Touch and
which is
base.
a great service. We, yeah, we haven't really got much over in Western Australia like that. So you go, there is something, but it's not as big as what you got over there. But you got more population, so yeah, I think you gotta be sure about what you want, like what you're getting in the sex service. If it's even sex at all, you just might want, like I said, someone to talk to or play sword fights or whatever. Something that someone would think really weird that you really want to do, but you too afraid to tell anyone else. Maybe I don't know, but I think it's about tapping into resources like touching base, and we need more services like that around Australia, so people with disabilities can access service. I don't know. Yeah, I think you just gotta and the other thing I would say is be choosy about the person you're seeing. If they don't fit with you can always get someone else. Um, yeah, I'm not sure whether there's many resources in regard to NDIS because I haven't actually looked at if there's any resources, but I doubt there is. So if anyone wants to tell me if NGOs have resources around sexuality, I would like to know because I'm unaware. And from all the information I've received, there's none at the current point.
Would like things like role playing, foreplay, they dress up, would that all come
Yeah,
under, I guess, part of the sex work services?
yeah, because yeah, it does. They will help you with all that because you're paying them for a service and it doesn't have to be set. Most people assume it's just set, but that's where the stigma and the trouble with dealing with sex work and NDIS is people just assume it's a sexual need. You might want someone just to come and touch you or, not sexual, but give you a hug, for example. You might
No,
have no one else in your life that can give you a hug. So,
there you
yeah,
go. If you have any fetish you want to carry out, contact the
yeah, well,
sex workers.
I would talk to the sex worker first and make sure that they can do that. But there are people that deal with
I
fetishes
reckon we
out
can.
there.
I reckon we can go hug the local librarian.
Yeah,
If that's all you want to do, contact the sex workers. They'll help you do that.
yeah,
You can get a group hug as well.
yeah. That's something
Mate,
else.
you know what you need, Ryan.
Yeah,
People like that need confidence. Confidence. If they
yeah,
don't get
yeah,
confidence, they're not gonna get their fix or a
yeah,
hug or a
Get that
or,
fixed.
or, or
Interesting.
their
yeah.
sexuality
I think
or get their
for people,
fetish.
for some people with disabilities, it's really hard to get confidence, especially when you've been knocked back by everyone in society
Yep.
telling you
They
you're
could.
useless and things like that, you know.
Yep.
So
And
maybe if
like,
we
I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of people that feel like they're not valuable because they got a disability,
yeah,
and we
I
need to
understand.
change
I
that.
understand. I understand. Maybe we can work on people's attitudes rather than people's sexual needs. Because if we
Yeah,
work on
yeah, and that
people's
will really
attitudes,
help.
then
Yeah,
then it'll give them more confidence and to ask
yeah,
or to meet people.
yeah, yeah. That's absolutely right. You gotta have confidence to meet people and do what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Surely right. Yeah, awesome. One step at a time. Nah, good stuff. Thank you very much, Ryan and David. Um, how can individuals navigate the NDIS to secure the support they need?
Well, NDIS has always been difficult to deal with. I guess it's just talking to your support coordinator, and hopefully your support coordinator will advocate as well as you to get what your needs met in your plan. Like that, that's what it's all about. But as for sexuality, I'm not sure. It depends. I think we all bring a personal bias to sexuality, and that's important to know. I'm always going to be pro sexuality because I've studied it and I
Mhm.
have a passion for that line of stuff where other people can disagree with me, and that's okay. I accept that people disagree. It's all a part of having a conversation. But I think it depends on people's point of view of sexuality. And if you look at it from an NDIS point of view, people's physical needs, their other cognitive needs are more important than sexuality. So that's why it doesn't come up in conversation. I think individuals need to start bringing this up to everyone that supports them. Maybe not say support workers, but like support coordinators, the NDIS itself, and just saying what's happening with this. Because I feel like it's a need, and the more people that say those sorts of things, the more it may get listened to.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Aaron. And finally, what role can community organizations and support group play in providing guidance and assistance?
That's a really difficult one. I mean, I've talked about uh sorry, I've lost my train of thought, but it depends on the attitudes of the community organisations at the end of the day. But I think it's good to have everyone, whatever need you want met, to be behind you, because you feel more supported. It's and you know, I'm I'm not sure how that will help in regards to sexuality, but they can sure give you guidance. But my guidance is going to be different to, say, if you went to a local church and talked about sexuality. there's, it depends what organisation we're talking about here, but like it's good for people to get support in any way, shape, or form that they can get.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Ryan.
Yeah.
Jonathan, David, do you have any, I guess, thoughts or comments?
Well, I think people, every person has their own challenges in sexuality. So whether they got a disability or not, it's all about confidence, and it's all about the people around them and people ideas on their self-image and their self-confidence. Once you build self-confidence and your self-image up and have a bit of confidence and talk to others, you you, you seem you seem to get to meet people, and
Mm,
you'll be able to move on and get be able to do things with others and
Yeah.
start relationships. It's
Mm,
not a disability. It's a self image. It's a self image,
yeah.
and it's a self image, and therefore it's not a disability. You're not gonna buy or pay for love.
Yeah.
That's not what NDIS is for. That's not love.
Mm-mm. Yeah, well, the point you got there. Thank you for sharing. Jonathan, do you have anything you want to add?
I usually have a different opinion to say what
Yep.
I think as over disability or commission people with disabilities should have access to sexual work for children respectful and healthy relationship.
No, yeah, well, look, well said, John and David. Thank you for, your arguments. I think, look, sex is a basic need for all individuals, even for people with disabilities. And so, we need that support. It shouldn't be left out. And it should be, something, we need to consider. Because, like Ryan mentioned over and over again, sex is a basic need. We all, need it. It's part of who we are as human beings. And yeah, look, I guess it can be seen as a pleasure, but it can also be seen as building relationships with people. And so it's something we need to encourage people with disability to engage with. In saying that, I encourage all our listeners. If you have any questions or comments you want to add, please feel free to do so. It's important
And
to
if
educate yourself about the intersection of NDIS and sex work. Sorry, David, go ahead.
and if anyone out there sees other people that are lonely, at least give them a call. Keep
Yeah,
them company.
that's
Mm,
right. That's right. It's
that's
all
Ask
about
also
them,
making
important.
connections.
ask them how they can help you, how you can help them find someone, or if they need someone to keep company. You
That's
don't
right.
have to
David.
fully sexually be involved with someone, but maybe someone else would like to be.
Yeah,
Mm,
and
If
as
that's right. Yeah.
thank you, David. That's awesome. And as also Ryan said, if anyone has any stories they want to share, please feel free to do so with us in the comments. I'd like to thank Ryan for joining us today on CripChat. Talk about sex work and what that's all about and its importance. Thank you very much, Ryan, for being on the
Thanks
show.
for having me.
We really appreciate you
you're
being
welcome.
here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And for the viewers out there, you have been watching CripChat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. Join us next